Do you ever dream of having people lined up to hear you speak and ready to pay you lots of money for your unique knowledge? Well, today you're going to learn all about the Speak and Prosper system to help you generate six figures in a single day using live virtual events. My name is Lisa Vanderquack, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Christa Proctor. Hi,
Hey,
Christa.
hi, Lisa. Hi, everybody.
And we are part of an elite speaker company that helps entrepreneurs turn their expertise into piles of cash. Christa, who doesn't want to know how to do that?
I do. I want to know. Lisa, this is such an exciting thing that we get to teach people and show people this system. It's going to change so many lives. So let me ask you, Lisa, how did you get involved in all this?
Well, my story is that I was in ministry for about 17, 18 years, and I came to a point in my life where actually I felt called to start a business. But here's the thing, I didn't know the first thing about starting a business or running a business. And I had been doing speaking and coaching in ministry contexts. And I don't know, Christa, if you've ever heard this, but I was terrified to speak. I was so afraid, even in a small group setting. But through the grace of God and through coaches, I now train people to speak. But I was at a point where I'm like, okay, I really feel like I need to start a business. And it was at that point I left my ministry position, started a business. And within 6 months, my whole life turned upside down because my husband passed away. And now I had three kids to pay the bills for. I had to figure out a way to make money. And it was at that time that a friend of mine actually invited me to a telesummit. Okay, who knows what a telesummit is? Those telephone summits. Have you ever been on one of those, Christa?
Oh, over the phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like
Oh,
16 years ago, a long
yeah.
time ago. Well, I went to this telesummit and I heard a woman speak, and she began to talk about how she was doing speaking and coaching through the telephone online summits and making over six figures. And I'm like, what? That was my first introduction to online events. Now, that was when there was no video, like online world was not as it is today. But that started me on a very fast learning curve, a steep learning curve, I should say, that helped me to make my first $297 income through online. But fast forward then, as I began to work that, I came in contact with an amazing group, the Elite Speaker Group, that taught me how I could perfect the system that would condense the time to make more impacted income. And what they taught me and you, Christa, together is that we can actually do in a day what most people do in a decade. And so this completely was a game changer. So that's what I've been doing now, and it has been the funnest journey I've been on, I think. How about you? What got you into this, Christa?
So fun. It's similar, actually, very similar background to yours. I grew up as a pastor's kid, and then my husband and we pastored a church for 17 years. I got into the real estate business during the economic crisis of '08, which many of, I'm sure you remember out there.
Yes.
And that was so traumatic. And just, have you ever wondered, at night, like how you're going to pay your bills, how you're going to feed your family? Just such a terrible feeling. And so I learned that speaking, the same skill I had from being a pastor, translated into so many other businesses. I mean, it's such a skill that goes across the board. And so in real estate, it helped me become a top producer my first year and every other year. And then this desire to speak never left me. But I remember telling somebody, I want to speak and I want to, change lives. But I remembered the feeling of poverty breathing down my neck all the time and always worrying about money. and never wondering if my kids were going to be able to, like, where's the money going to come from for their clothes, for the food that we want.
Yeah.
And I didn't ever want to go back there. So I was looking for, is there a way, like, have you ever wondered if there's any possible way that you could turn your passion and your knowledge that you've gained through the years and somehow make money from that? But I'm talking real money that could
Mhm.
provide for your family, that could sustain and not only provide for your family, but that you could use to make an impact on the people that you love, on the charities that you love, and that you would not have to pull back on any of your charitable donations. So, um, thankfully, like you, Lisa, I found the elite speaker group that we are a part of. And so it was so exciting to learn that there's a quantum leap that you can take, that it
Yes.
doesn't have to be this long, hard road that takes you years and years to develop all of your systems before you can actually take a leap using the methods that we will teach in our upcoming masterclass to actually not only make a huge impact, but fulfill your passion, help so many other people. And so we're excited. We're going to dive deeper into some things today. And that's really how, how I got into this with you, Lisa. And so
That is
I'm
so
super.
cool. I love that. It's so true how a lot of the skills that we learn in ministry, and before I was in ministry, I was a speech language pathologist. So it's kind of funny how I come full circle now in the speaking world, helping people to speak. But Christa, you and I have developed something and kind of as we've brought our own backgrounds and skills together and put together a system. Would you mind sharing about that? So help people, because it really helps people to get started. I think that's one of the biggest things. So how did you get started?
Yeah. And I think the number one fear that most people have is that fear of speaking.
So
And it's
true.
so shocking to hear your story, Lisa, for everyone, that you were so afraid of speaking, because you are a premier speaker. I mean, you speak
Mm.
all over the place, and I know you reach people all over the world. And so with that fear of speaking, it's so funny if you've ever heard Jerry Seinfeld, if you're a fan of his, but he has this bit where he talks about, and this is true, studies have
Yep.
shown that the number one fear that people have, even over the fear of death, is the fear of speaking. And so he always says that most people would rather be in the casket than on the stage doing the eulogy at a funeral.
Crazy.
And so crazy. I mean, that's how scared people are. But even if you're not new at speaking, like, there are a lot of people like myself. I was not new at speaking.
Even during the COVID era, that many of my colleagues who were professional speakers kind of got frozen because they didn't know how to transfer their skills online to do virtual events, or even entrepreneurs. How do I do this online? How do I make money online with my skill set? And it's they were kind of stuck in that way. So even people who are used to speaking in one context, sometimes to transfer that into another is a learning process and a skill. And that's why I love what you do, because you are able to really help people to make those transitions so well, and to be able to, from their in-person, what we call a brick and mortar, or just in person, to the online space. And that's a real thing.
It is actually, even myself, I actually was already like, I was a speaker. I spoke all the time, but I had no idea how to make money from speaking. I knew it's a marketable skill in the marketplace, but I had never had anyone show me it. For me, it felt like such a mystery. Like,
Mm,
how do you actually get into that online world, that new economy? It's like, it's the new brick and mortar.
so
So,
true.
um, amazing. It's actually, because I'm in real estate too, and this, I believe, is digital real estate. And so you want to invest in your future, and a lot of you are wanting to invest in real estate, and that's great. But what about your digital real estate footprint?
Mm,
That is one of the most
so
important
good.
investments. So we created the transformational speaking framework, so that if you have that fear of speaking, or if you're already an expert speaker, but you really don't know how to monetize your knowledge from your speaking skill, this transformational speaking framework will tell you exactly what to say, when to say, and how to say it in order to build that buyer momentum and build desire in people that want to go deep into your program and what you have to offer and learn from your expertise. And, Lisa, another
good.
fear that's so crazy is, and I'm sure you've faced this, Lisa, is the fear of no one showing up,
Oh
right?
my.
I mean, have you ever set up 200 chairs and like you thought you did a good job of promoting it, you spent all this time, but then 4 people show up? I mean, that
So bad.
it's one thing to be afraid of speaking. It's another thing. That's like a whole other level of fear, is no one showing up. And my dad, he was a speaker, he used to always say that's like BBs in a matchbox. If 4 people show up in a big, and so what's really,
Embarrassing.
it's so embarrassing, right? And so the exciting thing that we're going to teach people in our class is how to use the most leveraged, fastest, and easiest way to fill a room, even if you don't have a list yet. And it's actually so much easier than you think. Who likes easy?
I like
Who likes
easy.
easy?
Simplicity
I love
is
easy. That's why I always loved having a coach, because I've always called my coach the easy button. And that's what Lisa and I do, is we teach our method called the voice amplifier method. That's going to help
Yeah.
you fill the room, and you're not going to have that fear and anxiety of what if no one shows up, because
So good.
you're going to have this easy method of filling your room, so that you're
Mhm.
going to have so many people lined up, excited and energized, hanging on every word you say, so excited about what you have to offer. And then, then there's this other thing that happens that we've learned. And that's why, part of our system is people get to that point of, okay, now, oh my gosh, I have an event. What do I do with this thing? Like, oh, it's on me.
Yeah.
How do I even choreograph this? What happens during the event? What do I do? And so we have this system. It's kind of like a business, I'm sorry, it's an event in a box, is what I think of it,
Mhm.
because it's something like we give you the playbook of exactly how to set the event up, exactly how to choreograph what you say when, and what happens during the event, all the elements during the event, all the tech, all of that
Mhm.
thing. And we call it the own the stage method. So
Beautiful.
that when you are coming into your event, you are coming in with so much confidence, and you know that you have a plan, and you're not guessing, you're not winging it, but man, you know exactly what you're doing, and you are owning that stage. That is your room, and everyone in it is glad to be there.
It's so good.
Knowing confidence. Yeah. And then,
That really builds confidence. Hey, Krista, sorry to interrupt you there. I was just
oh,
thinking, because I've heard that once before. It talks about, if you lack confidence, you need having a plan or a place, a structure gives you that confidence. Okay, I know where I'm going. I know and so that is so powerful right there.
it's so true. It's so true. Yeah. Confidence. And then the last thing that we feel is like the biggest hurdle for most people is, when at the end of the day, like, how do I actually make money from this? Because you want to make an impact.
Mhm.
And so you want to generate wealth. And that's why you're doing this thing. And, many people can draw an audience and they could build a following, but they don't have any idea how to make money from it.
So
And
true.
they're not at all sure how to really add enough value to their audience and to their following that makes a lasting transformational impact in the lives of their audience.
So good.
And so what we teach you is you're going to know exactly how to line up all the participants. You're going to know how to collect a maximum amount of cash, and only work with the people that are the perfect fit for your program and what you're doing and what you're teaching. So you're only going to work with the people that are your ideal clients. And we teach you how to do all of that in what we call the wealth multiplier system. And so everything, this whole system, all the things that we teach you, the transformational speaking framework, the voice amplifier method, the own the stage method, and the wealth multiplier system, we call that whole thing our Speak and Prosper system. And so it
I'm s
exciting.
I am so excited about this because, that I hear that a lot from speakers, "Okay, this is great, but how do I get paid? How do I make money doing this?" I'm truly excited about this because I know that if I had learned a lot of what we're teaching people today, it would have really fast-tracked my success. If
Yeah,
I
I agree that
Mhm,
like having a coach that teaches you something, it collapses time.
mhm.
It gives you light speed and all the things in our system. I was wondering if maybe you would talk about something like what do you think is something that really holds people back?
Yeah, one of the things I'm just thinking about in answering this question, Jim Rohn once said, to be a great speaker, you need to have something of value to say and say it in such a way that engages your listeners. So I see that one of the biggest things that holds people back is like, what do I say? What do I
Yeah.
say? And we have a few different things that we can do online when we speak about virtual events, and some are longer, some are shorter. But one of the things that we really hone in on and specialize is this 4-hour masterclass because of that. It condenses the time and helps you to do more in a shorter period of time. And really, you can have more impact with less words. And when people hear that, they say, "What? I have to speak for 4 hours?"
Right. Yes.
You may be listening, you're thinking, "What? What am I going to say for 4 hours?" And really, a lot of times people don't struggle with what to say. It's being able to say something of value that's really going to create that desire in the audience to want to either engage with them or work with them, whatever it might be. I find then what happens is people, I don't know if you find this, Kristen, I know I had to learn this. Most speakers speak on things that interest them and they think, "Oh yeah, I'm going to speak on this and
Yeah.
this will be great to teach people this." But one of the things that I've learned over the years that it's not so much what we have to teach, it's what does my audience want to take away? What do
Yeah.
they want to learn? What is the thing that they struggle with, that they need help with, that they need a solution for? And so one of the things that we're going to teach you in this masterclass that we're going to do is exactly how to know what your listeners want, what your audience needs, and then how you can put that together in a way that's clear, concise, and compelling.
It's great because we show you how to talk to what they are the most hungry for.
Yes.
So it's exciting. I look forward to us getting into that more in the masterclass.
Yeah. What else do you find that holds people back when we think about this whole area of speaking online and speaking?
Other than what in the world do I say is I don't have a list. And because most people are taught that you have to have a big following, you have to have accumulated a large audience or a large email list in
Mm,
order to have that audience. And so what is so cool about what we teach you is the very activity that we're going to show you to fill the room will actually also grow your list.
wow.
And can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
You actually don't have to have a big room to have a big event.
What?
I mean, Lisa, isn't it so cool how we've learned that you can have less than 50, less than 20 people in a room to have a six-figure day.
I
I mean,
know.
yeah, we have one friend that in her first event, she had 12 people in the room and four of them were like rent a friend. Friends that showed up to cheer her on, and she still had six figures because she said exactly what she was coached to say, and
Mhm.
she ran the play, and lo and behold, when you work the plan, the plan works. And so that's how, she was still able to have such a huge impact even on her first event
Wow.
by using this method. And so what if what you're believing is actually not even true and it's holding
Mhm.
you back during your event?
That's
So
so
that's
good.
what we go into is how you don't have to have a big list, and we show you how to start where you're at, and in the process of doing the things we show you how to do, your list will grow.
Wow.
So what's something else?
Well,
What's something else that holds
one
people
of the
back?
other things, and I'm just going to say this based on what you just said, piggyback. I heard one time, and I don't remember who said it. Maybe you do, Krista. Is what if your fears are not rooted in reality, right? The market reality is
Yeah.
sometimes we have these fears of whatever, but like you were saying, we don't need a lot of people. But one of the other things that I find holds people back, and I know for sure it held me back in the beginning, was I don't have any invitations. I have nowhere to speak. Where am I going to find people to speak to? And one of the things that I actually learned from my very first coach that I hired back then over 16 years ago on that telesummit, and this is something that flipped the switch for me. She said, "You don't need anybody's permission to speak. Your
Right.
calling is your permission. If you feel called to speak, that is your permission." And Krista, the most beautiful thing about what's come out of even the last 3 years with the whole world being introduced to the online space is that now we have more opportunity than ever to create our own stage and to reach people that we probably wouldn't have been able to reach before. And we can find people just by coming on Zoom, creating our own stage, creating our own event. And that might sound really scary to some people because I know I had to get over some of the tech things. But just like you said earlier, it doesn't have to be complicated. And that's one of the things that we're going to teach them. It actually is very simple. Even if you're not a techie person, you can make significant cash. You can make an income and earning a livelihood speaking online. So that is one of the things that I find holds people back. And so when they hear this and when they learn how to actually create their own stage without having to get invitations, it just sets them free. It just sets them free.
I love that. Yeah, you don't have to be anointed by someone. You don't have
Oh,
to be
yes.
invited by anyone. I mean, Lisa and I, this is okay. If you need an invitation, Lisa and I invite you right
Yes.
now. We invite you to create a space for not just yourself, but for so many people who are waiting for what's
So
inside of you.
true.
You need what you have to give. And sometimes like I've heard people say, well, I'm just waiting on God. I've been there before. I'm like, God, I'm just waiting on you to give the opportunity. And or waiting on others, like you were saying, Lisa, like
Mhm.
people waiting an invitation for someone else. Or I've sometimes put things off because I thought, yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to do that. I do feel called, but I've got too many other things going on.
Mm.
You know what? None of those are the reason that really holds you back. The real reason that held me back, the real reason that probably is holding you back, if you've gone this far, you in our video right now, that means something's resonating with you.
Yeah.
You do feel called. And so the real reason that holds people back is they have not made a choice. They have
Wow.
not chosen. Once you choose, I'm going to do this, and you choose this for yourself, you choose this for your family, you choose this for the world that's waiting for you.
Yeah.
The question is not, what do I need to do? The question is, who can help me do this thing?
So good.
Lisa and I want to invite you to come to our masterclass we have coming up, where we're going to go into all these things. We're going to do a deep dive into all the methods that we just kind of like threw out to you. We can't do it in this short time frame that we have right now on this video, but we're going to dive really deep into all of those methods. We're going to show you the entire system that we use to help people, experts, people who want to speak, people
Mhm.
who are in business and you want to scale your business to
Yeah.
generate 6 figures in a single day using live virtual events.
Wow.
And so if you want to learn how to speak and prosper, we just invite you to click that link and take advantage of any upgrades that are offered. You're closer than you think, right, Lisa?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing that for me, and I know that for you too, Chris, is we have understood and we found the value in being coached by someone who's already done it or who knows how to point us in the right direction, right? I'm done with trying to do things on my own. It just takes too much time, too much money wasted. And
That's
so
right.
I agree. We want to invite you to come and learn from what we have learned and be able to condense time for you to give you your time freedom, to have more impact in less time, and to also generate more income in less time. And I love this quote by George Bernard Shaw. It says, "Don't wait for the right opportunity, create it." And
Love
we want to help you do that.
So great. We hope to see you soon.
Bye.